Hi, what's currently going on with the Leo token? It's going up more than 50% in a single day. And right now the price is somewhat consolidating. We are looking at $7.54. So after this initial spike over here, we came somewhat down and now we've got a new stable price. Now, first of all, we will discuss why is this price hike happening. But the second point, which is probably way more interesting, is what's actually now a fair value for the Leo token. How can we assess if this current rally is already done or if the token might rise further? Currently, we are looking at market rank 25. So the token is the 25th largest cryptocurrency right now. So let's first get to the cause of all of this. So you might have heard of this. There was back in 2016 a Bitfinex hack where 120,000 Bitcoin got stolen. And it looks like this Bitcoin now has been recovered. The people behind this hack apparently are Ilya Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan. And so of that 120,000 Bitcoin, 94,000 got recovered. So that's currently 3.6 billion US dollars. Now here comes the juicy part. Let's go to bitfinex.com and let's look at what this centralized exchange is saying about this. So Bitfinex is working with the DOJ, and in case they do get the Bitcoin returned, they will use that returned Bitcoin to buy up the Leo tokens. So 80% of that returned money will be used to buy up the Leo tokens, minus a few fees. But that's basically the gist of it. So there's a white paper around here. The background was that because of the hack, because of the Bitfinex hack, the company was issuing several tokens, Leo being one of them. And in that white paper, that was one of the reasons why people bought this token. In the white paper, it says here under tokenomics, a part around recovered Bitcoins from the Bitfinex hack. So Bitfinex, which is the company behind Bitfinex, will use an amount equal to 80% of the recovered net funds from the Bitfinex hack. So note net funds. And what will they do? They will repurchase and burn outstanding Leo tokens. So what does net mean? In net funds, it means a reduction of RRT redemptions, legal tokens, operational and recovery costs, government charges, and reserve for contingent costs. So there's an example below here. 30 million get deducted for the RRT. So that's another token Bitfinex issued to fix their liquidity issues at the time. And then on top of that, legal fees, other fees, who knows what. So in the end, we simply have to work with something cautious here. Take rather too much than too little discount over here. So what we are looking at is 3.6 billion. That's this number over here. From that, Bitfinex only wants to return 80%, so that's 2.9 billion. And let's be super conservative. Let's say their lawyers are really, really expensive, and then these RRT tokens are also going to be very expensive. But you might want to do your own calculation over here, right? I haven't done any digging on the outstanding RRT deduction. So let's work with a number of, say, 1.5 billion, something like that. So if all of this comes true, then Bitfinex will buy 1.5 billion worth of Leo tokens. And they will buy this through several means, right? But that's what they plan on doing. And the anticipation here is basically you want to front run Bitfinex. You want to buy this before Bitfinex does it. They are planning to do this purchase over a period of 18 months. So over 18 months, we should see a gradual increase of the price given there aren't so many people that have front run them before, right? And so how much front running happened over here? How much should this token actually appreciate? The current market cap is at 7 billion. So is this already inflated since Bitfinex is only planning to buy maybe 1.5 billion worth of that token? Will the buying of Bitfinex be able to offset the purchasing that happened over here? Because these people, they will dump on Bitfinex basically, right? They will sell whatever they purchased over here. That's the big grand question. And I have my thoughts around this. If so far you like this kind of content, please give this a thumbs up because it will help the channel grow. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Now here we go. I think one thing we can look at is simply trading volume. How much trading volume has actually triggered this rally? Because by looking at the trading volume, we can determine the maximum amount of capital that has so far flowed into the token, right? Not all of these orders were purchase orders. We did have some selling here going on as well. But at least if we are super conservative, the maximum is whatever has been traded here in the 24 hours. And what's that number? it's 52 million. So how is that possible? How is it possible that only 52 million at a maximum went into this coin? Probably net less, right? Because we did have some selling. Let's say 40 million, still pretty conservative. 40 million went into the token, pushing that price up. How is it possible 40 million went in, but at the same time, the market cap increased by 50%? So the market cap before was maybe, say, 4.5 billion, something like this. Now it's 7 billion. So 2.5 billion more market cap, while only 40 million went into the token. The way this works is simply by the multiplication effect. If you have ever traded a narrow crypto, as in a crypto that doesn't have a lot of liquidity, and you put in, say, 5,000 US dollars in a pretty small cap liquidity pool, say this liquidity pool has 100K in it or something like this. You put in 5,000, you notice that you will have a price impact, right? When you go on a decentralized exchange, you will see you might move the price by, say, 9 or 10%, something like this. And that's because the price adjusts to the demand in an exponential function. So the more imbalance there is in a liquidity pool, the quicker the price rises. And a similar effect is true for order books. So this particular token over here, this Leo token here, it's been traded on centralized exchanges. It's not traded on decentralized exchanges. You can buy it on FTX and of course on Bitfinex and on Gate.io as well. The mechanism in order books is pretty much the same. The more demand there is, the quicker that demand hits the order book, the thinner the order book is at these extremes, and the price tends to move quicker. And so that's then the effect in the end that we can observe over here, right? Just a little bit of money flowing in, a lot of change in market cap. Now, how can we determine what's a fair price here? Or how can we determine if this is already the fair price? The right way to think about this is basically you have to give this whole scenario a probability. You have to look at what kind of money do you think will really be in the end flowing into the coin by purchases and by burning of Bitfinex. How much do you believe the company doing this kind of a move? And then what will be the amount that will actually be purchased, right? We just made a very rough approximation with 1.5 billion, but maybe it's way less. Maybe this RRT tokens really have a lot of impact. Maybe the guys here are just talking hot air. Maybe the money won't even get returned from the DOJ to Bitfinex. Maybe this whole thing could blow up, right? But you will have some kind of an expected value. You should calculate with an expected value. Do you think the probability of this money going into the coin is, say, 10%? And do you think 1.5 billion will move? Then your expected demand is 150 million. 150 million over those 18 months. If we now say this rally over here has been caused by, say, a net of 40 million, then there is potentially another 100 million that haven't yet been front run by the market. So how much could the market cap increase if we add another 100 million? Well, it could probably double, I would say. Or maybe a bit less, right? Let's say we went from 4.5 billion to 7. We add another 100 million. So maybe this goes to, say, 12 billion, something like this. I'm just making here back of the envelope calculations. I'm not doing this very scientifically, but I hope it gives a general reference point of how you can come up with a potential price target. Simply by looking at this very roughly, I do think this rally might not yet be over. I think the likelihood of this money returning is probably higher than 10%. 1.5 billion was also a relatively low estimate. 40 million net inflows was also a relatively low estimate. So if you ask me, do I expect this token to further increase? I think there is a pretty high chance of that actually happening. Because let's look at this conceptually, right? Let's say there are no front runners at all. Then we've got here our price, and then Bitfinex just buys up. And let's say the expected amount of purchases will be 150 million, right? We do have to take quite a bit of a discount here. We don't know what kind of moves Bitfinex is able to pull off, right? They don't have necessarily the best reputation. So let's just say this is the expected purchase. And let's say over those 18 months, this is how the price would develop. If there was no front running, nobody would care about this whole thing. Now what's actually happening, what seems to be happening is, so let's say this is the time when the funds are returned. What seems to be happening is that the price was relatively low And then 50 or 40 million, whatever it is, of money went into the token trying to front run this purchasing over here, right? And so let's say it wouldn't appreciate further. Let's say not a lot of people watch this video, which is relatively likely, right? This channel is relatively small. So let's say we just go sideways and the market doesn't do anything even after it has been confirmed that the money gets returned. Let's just work with that assumption. What then happens is the purchasing here will be done over time. And the people that bought in here, they are also likely going to sell. Ideally, they want to sell also over the period of 18 months, right? Because you want to take advantage of this gradual demand from Bitfinex. And so what would then happen is that these people here, they will sell. And so the net movement out of the demand from Bitfinex and out of the supply from the front runners, it will be something like this, right? It should still outperform. Now this is different to when we do have the entire movement front run. And this is how an efficient market would look like. Let's say we do get 150 million. All of this has been front run. The people, they sell this off over that period of time. What we now see is that all of the gains have already been made. And once the purchasing happens from Bitfinex, it will be offset by the selling of the front runners. So the price should just be stable. And so in the end, the question is really, what is the expected value for the upcoming purchases of Bitfinex? How likely do you think will this purchasing be? How high will the amount be? And that's the point where I think you should start doing your own research. But if you're wondering what I do, I don't yet have an FTX account and I will be signing up for one. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe. I publish videos regularly. And feel free to also check out the premium membership. We've got exclusive content, we've got a chat where you can ask me any questions, and of course daily market updates around Bitcoin, around Ethereum. So feel free to check that out. TheBitcoinStrategy.com is the link in the video description. We've also got a public Telegram group. Simply search for that, Bitcoin Strategy channel within the Telegram app. Be careful though, there are people that impersonate me, that try to scam you out of your crypto. I'm never going to message you directly. I'm never going to sell you anything by messaging to you, so just be careful. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye-bye.